All right, welcome back to our third and final topic here about the industrial north in regards to farming innovation. So we first talked about transportation, mostly steam engine. Then we went into communication with the telegraph. Now here, farming. What improvements in technology is going to be utilized for farming? Well, we see the two examples right here. So our first one, our first tool, if you will, where is it? There we go. Is this device right here. You've probably seen this before, usually in imagery of the Grim Reaper or Death. That's the actual name of this tool. It's a reaper, a hand reaper. And we see in these images, the farmer is using this to harvest crops at the end of the growing season. So the farmer would use this by hand, going up and down, up and down, up and down across their entire field, just hacking away at their crops. Imagine how time consuming, how tiresome it's going to be, especially if you're doing it all by yourself, because more than likely you're just a single farmer. You don't have enough money to pay for multiple people to work for you to help out with this. This is very time consuming. Well, an idea comes along by a guy by the name of Cyrus McCormick. And eventually, here it is, comes up what's called the mechanical reaper. This device here has several little smaller hooks, if you will, of these reapers, all in a row across this device. And you see here it's being pulled by horses. This mechanical reaper is not going to be able to do just one row. It can do multiple rows, like each of my fingers is a row on your farmland. It can do all of these at once, where it would take you by hand hours, if not days, to do, well, definitely more than hours, days to do the entire field. You can do multiple rows at once. You've dramatically decreased the time it takes you to harvest your crops at the end of the season. Okay, let's add more industrial revolution technology to this. Let's mechanicalize this further for today's purposes. The modern day combine. You have seen this, I'm sure, driving around Indiana, because all the cornfields and whatnot around here, in the fall season. Right here in the front, that is one giant mechanical reaper that's pushed from behind by this mechanized, drivable tractor, which we call the combine. It's so automated these days. I've heard stories about how some of these very high-tech ones, they have GPS connecting to satellites up in space. They can map out the boundary of their farmland, and the GPS tracker can drive the machine for them. So you just have to sit there to be sure it stays on course. You don't have to drive the thing anymore. It's almost that automated. That's a much faster and easier way than doing it all this by hand. Final invention in regards to farming when it comes to the equipment is this right here, where we're tilling the field. This is done by hand. Usually this tool is referred to, keeping things school appropriate, it's called a hoe. You use this steel plate at the end to dig into the ground. You're trying to turn up the field, till it. You do that at the beginning of the growing season so you can plant your seeds further into the ground where the soil is richer, and then you go on with watering it throughout the season, and then use your mechanical reaper at the end to harvest everything. Again, this will take you time. You have to go row by row by row by row by row. Doing it by hand, you're going to get worn out. It's going to take you several days probably to do this. Well, in comes John Deere, who comes up with the idea of the steel plow. This is a wedge-shaped plow that digs right into the dirt. It can be pulled here in front by oxen or by horses, so eliminating the human factor so that it improves the amount of effort that goes into this. You can then till the field faster. This way, you just stand here in the back to make sure it stays straight. Yes, we're talking about the same John Deere of the John Deere Farming Company that is out there today. All right, again, let's jump forward in time. Let's mechanicalize this. Here's the same idea. At one point in the history, I tried to count all of these when I taught this before. I think there's about 15 of these little steel plows. That's all that's being happening here. This is being dragged across the field. Imagine taking your fingers through dirt or through through sand, and it's trying to till up the field. 15 rows all at once. That's going to be a lot faster than you doing it by hand, one at a time. And you're putting a tractor here at the front so you can go a little bit quicker than by horse or by oxen pulling this. So in the nutshell, if I've not said this enough, both of these improvements dramatically increase the productivity of farmers. They can produce more crops and they can do it a lot faster, which means it's going to make things cheaper for them. Now, on the flip side, that's not in this video, I'm sorry, it's not on the screen, so you need to be listening for this, is this in turn is going to cause actually a lot of farmers to go out of business. Why is that? Well, if it's more profitable and people want to buy more and more and more farmland to make more money, they can buy you out. So that means some of these poorer farmers will find themselves out of a job. Okay, where are they going to go to find employment? They're going to go to the cities. They're going to go to the factories to find a job. And that's going to help further grow this increasing industrial north that we saw developing in our previous lesson with the factories and the rivers, now adding in transportation with the railroads, making it easier for people to move around. And now we've made it easier and cheaper for farmers. We need less of them. So it's moving the northern economy from agriculture more into industrial manufacturing. That's what's happening here with this lesson. So with that, this concludes the topic here about industrial north. So at this time, be sure your note-taking guide is filled out. If there's anything that you're missing, be sure to go back and fill those in and use that to help answer your objective questions as well. So with that, I'll see you in the next lesson about the people of the Northern Studies.